Some of you guys might be familiar already with the Jamovi software. But in case you're not, Jamovi is basically a statistical spreadsheet designed for easy use and also as an alternative to statistical software such as SPSS. What's really cool about Jamovi is that it's built on top of the R statistical language. So if you're very comfortable using the R code, or if you're familiar with RStudio, this is going to be very familiar coding. And that's great because, some of us really prefer to do things in coding. But if you're not, that's okay too, because it's a very, very easy click function software to use. It is also free and accessible to everyone. It's made by the scientific community for the scientific community. That's their little logo there. If you go to their website, you can download it at www.jamovi.org. That's just a quick little introduction to what it is. This is how it looks. This is our user-friendly interface here. We have at the top here, we have the modules for all of the analysis that we can run. We have our data view on this side, and we also have our analysis view. And what's really cool about this is that we can scroll this back and forth if we want to look at the data or if we want to look at the analysis only. So the first thing to do once you install Jamovi is to go ahead and install your modules. And that's going to be up here on the right corner, that little modules plus. You click there, go to Jamovi library, and it should open up this little window here. You can scroll through all of these packages. They are designed for certain types of analysis. They have a description there that tells you exactly what they do, and you can scroll through that and read all of those and pick and choose which ones would work best for your type of analysis. If you needed to update anything, you can do it from here as well. You just click update for whatever packages need to be updated. And that is as easy as that. They'll start appearing up here in the ribbon on the top. So to open files, super easy. There's a little menu at the top left corner. You click there and you can either open your own data sets that are from your computer, or you can download one of those modules, one of those packages. It's called R datasets. And once you download those, you'll have access to all of the sample data that you usually find in RStudio, and you'll have access to it on Jamovi, and you can play around with all of that sample data. There's like a bunch of things to choose from, and you can go crazy. For cleaning and editing data, I really like this because it's super simple. You just right click on the top of the header to delete or add variables. You could also go to the top ribbon here where it says data, and you can also add or delete variables through there. If you wanted to filter your responses, or if you wanted to filter out any outliers, you can also go the same place, data, and there's a little filter little tab here. And you can add as many filters as you want. Again, like I said, you can filter out any outliers, you can filter out any responses that you might not be interested in, and you can add as many as you want, and they'll start appearing over here at the bottom. So super easy just to clean out everything and to delete what you don't need. If you wanted to change the data variable name, you wanted to recode it or something, you would just have to double click at the top of that header, and it pops out this little window, and you can change the name. You can also add a little description. I know sometimes we recode our variables and then we don't remember exactly what that variable represented. So you can make your little note for yourself there, what it is. If you wanted to change the measurement type, let's say you wanted to look at, you wanted to make a variable continuous or ordinal, you can just drop down right here where it says measurement type, and it'll give you all of the options for you to be able to change that. You can also change the type of your data to either decimal or integer, etc. Again, the little drop down menus. And if you look over here, you can also see the levels of your variables. So if you have more than one variable, you can look at them over here, and you can also edit them as well there if you needed to. We can also compute variables. Let's say here we have our column here for frequencies. Let's say I wanted to change it, compute the either the z-score or I wanted to compute the log frequencies for those frequencies, I would just go again to my data tab. There's a little button here for compute. You just click there. You can change the name, add a description. And what's really cool about this is that you could just drop down here. There's a little formula drop down menu. You can't see it here, but I'll show you in a minute. You don't have to memorize any of the formulas. You just look for them. There's a bunch of statistical computations there for you to pick from. And on the other side, I know you can't see it, but on the other side, you can also pick which variable you want to compute. So it's really easy. You tell it what you want it to do, and you tell it which variable you want to do it for, and you just click on that little up arrow once you're done, and it'll automatically compute in the bottom here. If you wanted to transform your data, let's say you have an ordinal or nominal type of variable, and you wanted to recode it, again, that data tab, there's a little transform button there. You click on that. It asks you in the first window, you can't see it on this one because I can only get little snippets of I can't find the word. Anyway, you can ask it or tell it which variable you want it to be the source. It's called the source. If you see there, like it says the little $ source, you pick the variable and then you can click on which transformation you want to do. You can click on first create a new transformation because this is the first time that we're doing it. And you can name that transformation something else. And you don't actually write the formula right away on that first line. You actually have to add a recode a condition, and you can put as many conditions as you want for this recoding if you have more than one response there. But it works the same way as your R, so that double equal sign, it's a very familiar coding language. So you would tell it, if in this variable you find female, for example, I have it there in little apostrophes. If you find female, use, and there in the next little column here, you have use, and I would put 1, for example, if I wanted to record it to ones and twos. And then the same thing, you would add another recorded condition. You say equals equals, as in finding that male, and then if it's male, use that number 2. And what's great about this is that if you do have a lot of transforming to do, you can actually save the transformation. So you can do as many as you want. You can create as many transformations as you want to make. And on the next variable, you don't have to retype all of this coding. You just drag down and find the transformation you're looking for, and then you just apply it to that. And again, you just close it off, and it's going to, like here in the bottom, you can see that it's already been recoded. All of the males are 2 and all the females are 1s. Super simple to transform your variables, and it saves you a little bit of time since you don't have to do it again and again. Oops, what happened? Sorry about that. I think I clicked too much. So we were in computing right here. Okay, so now we can jump into our analysis. So here in the very top ribbon, we have a little exploration tab. You click there, you'll find descriptives. And what's really cool is that you can actually see all 3 windows at the same time. And I love that when I'm trying to go back and forth, look at the data, and then come back to the model, I could just kind of drag the whatever window I need to see, and I can see them all at the same time. So you'll see all of your variables here in this little model in the descriptives. So you could just drag whatever variables you're looking for if you want to see how many hair types or eye types, and you can even ask it to split it by whatever category you want. And this is the really nice part. You can request the frequency tables, this little checkbox here. And as you're clicking, the output will come out on this end. So I can ask for the sample size, I can ask for missing data points, I can ask for other types of statistics. You can see them all over here. The dispersion, I can get the standard deviation, I can ask for variation. And at the bottom, you can't see it because it's cropped, but I'll show you in a minute. You also have the little tab for plots, and you can ask whatever plots you want. They have histograms, they have bar plots. They have other types. I can't remember them all right now, but you'll see them automatically compute on this end, which is really cool. So let's go ahead and kind of go over an independent sample t-test. Again, here in the top ribbon, you'll find the t-test. They have one sample, independent sample. They have the paired t-test, and whatever you need, you can go ahead and just open it. It'll open again that little model window, and you can just drag your variables. It has like the student's T, it has all types of statistical analysis there. You can also ask for effect size, descriptive plots, and of course it has a little hypothesis section right here if you think that your groups will not equal each other, or maybe group 1 is will be more so than group 2, etc. And if as you're clicking this, you'll see the output here change. And finally, the ANOVA, again, it's right here in the tab. This is what it looks like. You can have like a little overall model test fit. As for effect sizes, down here in the model, you can change this. You can, like, if you're just looking for eye or hair or whatever model terms you need, you can also drag down. Oops, I keep doing it. I keep wanting to be in Jamovi and I keep clicking it. Sorry. So like I was saying, you can change the model terms. You can look at all of the main effects, or you can look at two-way interactions, three-way interactions, etc., all the way up to 5 interactions. But now we can do the demonstration. If you have Jamovi downloaded, you can follow along. I'm using the hair eye color dataset from the dataset library, like I mentioned before. If you didn't have it downloaded, don't worry, I'll show you how to do that in a second. Okay, it's good. All right, let me just kind of switch this. All right, so let's go ahead and I don't think I have anything in here, right? Nope. We can go ahead and again, let's go to open. And well, first let me show you where the module is before we get into that. There you go. So modules here, I'm going to go to Jamovi library, and just to show you which package you'll need to access that one. I'm not sure if it's already available without this, but I had to download it to use it. Should be towards the bottom. Here you are. So our datasets, I already have it installed here, but you guys can install that. So let's go ahead and open it. Since I already have it installed, I can go to data library and just look for that hair eye color dataset here. Does everybody see it? Yes? Okay, awesome. So this is what it looks like. Like I mentioned, you can drag this all the way out, or you can, play around with that. Right now we're not looking at it. So like you see how I have this extra column here. I don't need that one. So I'm just gonna click on that header, gonna right click, and I'm going to delete the variable. Delete column A, yes. So now I have a cleaner data set here. Now we can do some of the, you see how here the frequency is nominal. I want to change that to continuous. So I'm going to go ahead and drag down here. The continuous option is right there. And I'm just going to close it. And if you notice here now, it has that little continuous symbol. So it's good. We changed it. So now let's say I wanted to get that log frequency of these frequencies. I would just go here, data ribbon, compute, and you can name this something else. Let's name it log frequencies. And this is a little formula menu that I mentioned before. It has all of these functions, it's math, statistical, all of that. So you don't have to memorize any of these functions. You can just go and look for it. I said log, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click here, double click. So it, puts it and it starts computing it up here in that little box here. And I'm just going to tell it which variable I want it to compute. I'm going to tell them frequency, double click that again. And I'm just gonna drag with the little hide button, and it already computed all of the log frequencies for this frequency. Cool. So now let's go ahead and transform some of this data. Let's say I wanted to recode the male and female, just so you guys can see that. So I'm gonna highlight that. I'm gonna go to transform right here. And again, I can name this, let's just go for sex code. And again, this is the source variable, so I can technically change it to whatever variable I wanted to change it to, but we're looking at the variable for sex, so we're gonna go ahead and keep that there. And now here in that using transformation, right now it says none, and we don't have any other transformations created yet, so we're gonna create a new transformation. And again, we can change this name to whatever we want. And we'll go here. See that first line just says source. That's just telling you this is the variable that we're going to use for this transformation. And in this case, we already indicated that it was sex. So we're gonna add recode condition, and we get our little if use that. So like the R language, the double equal signs just means equals, right? So I'm gonna tell it if in this variable you find female, right? I'm going to put that in the little apostrophes because it likes for us to name things. If in this variable we have female, we're going to use number 1, right? And we can add another one. And we'll say the same thing. If you find male in that variable, use number 2, right? And I can just go ahead and close that. I'm just gonna leave it as is, name. So now when you come over here, you see that it's already been recoded. I have that extra column here for males and females. And once I go back, let's say I wanted to look at a different variable, I would just have to apply this transformation that we've already created. And we can create different ones like I had mentioned before. So that's pretty cool. What's next? We can go ahead and do the descriptives. See how here, like now we can only look at the analysis, just drag that over. I love this, it's so cool. So let's go to exploration. Again, descriptives. So this is our model here. It opens it up. This is our output. Like I said, if we wanted to, we could just scroll this over and we can look at our data at the same time. But let's just say our variables, let's look at our log frequencies, and let's split it by hair, by eye color. We can even split it by sex if we wanted to, and that just adds a different little column here, but it's too many for me. Let me just backtrack. So you'll see here that it's split by number. We have the means down here, and it just does all of these, it's split by all of these variables. So we can ask for frequency tables. We can look at the statistics here in the dropdown. Let's say we know that we don't have any missing variables, so we don't need any of the missing variables. So we just unclick that, it takes it off of the output. And we have all of these, the central tendency computations here, the standard deviations, like I had mentioned before, the normality tests. Here is the part that you didn't see before, which is the plots. We have histograms. I can ask for a histogram. Let's do a box plot, a bar plot, and why not, right? QQ plot. So if you see it's loading, but if you scroll, you'll get all of your plots here at the bottom. They look really cool. I can close this too, and I could just slide this over so you can see all of the plots that it just spit out. I can also, if I close it, let's say I'm here and I want to go back and change something, I would just have to double click and it opens up the model here again. So let's do a t-test. We're going to do, like I said, like here's the independent samples. We have pair t-test and all of these other options. But let's just stick to the independent t-test for this sample. Now, if you notice, like the one above is now darker because now we're opening this module. So this is the one that you see. So let's go ahead and drag our log frequency. And let's say we only wanted to do hair and eye color for, or actually let's do sex as the grouping variable. So we would get our t-test already. If we wanted to add any additional statistics like mean differences, confidence intervals, see how it's already computing it, effect sizes, and let's say we wanted to get the descriptives and the plots, we would get all of that in just real quick. So that's really cool. And again, if I want to go back to the other one, I could just double click and it'll open the different analysis that we have ongoing. Let's do the last one, which is an ANOVA. I know our data is not really meant for ANOVAs, but this is just a demonstration. So let's pretend that we have 3 perfectly equal groups. So again, this is our ANOVA. Here in the bottom, we have all of these. So let's add in our log frequency. And let's say this time I want to have like hair and eyes as fixed factors, and I'm only going to do those. It already spits out the output here. We can ask for a model fit. We can ask for effect sizes, that one or the partial one. We have different options for our model terms. So this is what I was talking about. You can alter these, and here are all of the effects. You can just use main effects, and it goes all the way up to the all 5-way interactions. We can do assumption checks. We have all of these tests. Here we can change the type of the data. So if we wanted deviation, if we wanted simple coding, whatever we used, we can change that here as well. And here are our post hocs. You could just drag these over. I'm not going to do it because it's going to complain about too many combinations, but this is how you would get your post hocs, and you can change what type you want, like the Tukey or the Bonferroni are the ones that we usually use. Effect size as well. And the marginal means, it has, you can ask for tables, you can change the error bars if you want to look at the confidence interval or the standard error. And that's pretty much it. That's the end of that. So this is our beautiful analysis that we get. And again, I could just drag that out. And this is what we get. If you made a mistake and you wanted to, let's say, delete one of your analysis, you would just have to right click here, and it has the option to do all of them, like remove all of it or export or copy, or it does it by analysis. So let's say I just made a mistake and I just wanted to remove that one. There, it's gone. It's great. If I wanted to, again, export the whole thing, you can export it. You would go all, you can export or copy to Microsoft, and you would just save this wherever you would want to save it. And that is all that I have for you on the demonstration.